In today's video, I'll be showing you guys the top 5 best builds on NBA 2K24. Now, it doesn't matter what your playstyle is, there will be a build for you in this video. I'll be showing you guys the best ISO build, a small guard build for 3 hunting, the best lockdown build, the best outside center / popper build, and the best dominant inside center build on NBA 2K24. So look, I know what you're here for. You just want to get to the builds. I will leave timestamps in this video so you guys can know when I show each build. Let's not waste any time. Let's get right into the builds. But before I do, if you guys are new to the channel and you guys are ready for more NBA 2K24 content, do not hesitate to hit that subscribe button and turn notifications on. Drop a like on the video if this helps you out and you use any of these builds. Both of those help me out a ton. But alright, let's get into the top 5 builds on NBA 2K24. So the first build that I'm going to be showing you guys is a point guard. It is 6'6". Now, this build can be played on any court with any play style, and you'll see that from the attributes. So you see you're going to be 6'6", 191 pounds, 7-foot wingspan, and a point guard. And now let's get into the attributes. Now, while I fill up these attributes, I do want to let you guys know that I have an extremely similar version to this build already on my channel. Is the first build that I uploaded, the build that I use still to this day. And I do want to let you know that I still honestly prefer that other build, the first one that I showed you, but I think it would just be stupid to upload the same build twice. So this is that same exact build, tweaked out a little bit now that we understand how NBA 2K24 is played. But they're both great builds, so as you guys see, I'm putting up the attributes now. I'm going to finish it here, and then I'm going to explain why I have each attribute at that number. So this is it. These are the attributes when your player is finished. Like I just said, very similar to the build that I have, just tweaked out a little bit. So let's go over some of these attributes. An 87 3-point shot. This is basically the biggest difference, this and my perimeter defense, between this and the build that I use. Now, on my main build, I have a 92 3-point, but on this build, I have an 87. Now, the difference between a 92 and an 87 is limitless range. You get that on silver at a 92, and with an 87 you only get it on bronze. But I don't think silver makes that big of a difference, and an 87 and 92 isn't gonna, change if you green or if you don't green a shot. With a 93 ball handling, you see you get killer combos and ankle breaker. One on gold, one on Hall of Fame. If you put it down to a 92, you no longer get those on that next badge tier. That's why your ball handle is a 93 instead of a 92, which is where you unlock most of these badges on gold. So yeah, you put that up to a 93. Speed with ball 85. On my other build, I have it at an 83, but I've seen people talk about the Ja Morant dribble style being the best for builds like this, and you do need an 85 speed with ball for that. So that's also what I tweaked on this build. Both an 85 driving dunk and a 65 vertical will allow you to get a lot of the really good dunk packages, which most importantly, the LeBron James dunk package, which I still think is the best dunk package in the game, unless you get like an absurdly high dunk, which will kill the rest of your ratings. And then with a 93 perimeter defense, look at what you can do. Look at all these badges. You get Hall of Fame 94 feet, which is a really good defensive badge, and then all of these defensive badges on gold. That's another difference, is on my other build, I only have an 85 perimeter, but I have a 60 steal. But now that we're a few days into 2K24, passing lanes are crazy bad this year. I really don't think steal matters that much, and I don't think interceptor helps that much. So I would rather have a high perimeter defense, allowing me to get all of these gold defensive badges and Hall of Fame 94 feet. And then you have an 82 speed, an 87 excel, and a 99 stamina to wrap up this build's attributes. This is the 6'6" build that you can run on 2s, you can run on 3s, you can use screens with this build, you can ISO, you can pick and pop. I think this build can legitimately do everything. Very similar to the build that I use. And when you do make this build, you see who you get shades of, which that doesn't really matter, but you are called a 2-way floor spacing slasher. Overall, I recommend making this build unless you have a unique play style for 3s or even 2s, which is what this next point guard build I'm going to show you is. Let's get into that one. All right, so this next build is a small point guard build specifically for threes, pro-am, rec, if you're the main ball handler. I do want to let you know before I make it, by the way, this is what you go. You go a point guard, 6'3", 170 pounds with a 6'6" wingspan. And while I'm doing these attributes, I do want to let you guys know this build will severely lack defense, but that's because you are an absolute offensive god on this build. So I'm going to fill out the attributes, and then we'll talk about why I have each of them at that number. So when you're finished, this is what the attributes are going to look like. Like I just said, you are going to have basically no defense on this build. This is a straight offensive demigod, right? If you play threes, and you're usually going to be running with a lockdown, so you're going to be guarding corner anyway. I wouldn't really recommend playing this on the twos unless you don't miss and you're crazy good. But let's go over some of these attributes, okay? 96 3-point, so you do get limitless range gold, and you get all of these tier A badges and tier B badges basically on Hall of Fame. Basically the highest 3-point you can get without having a 99, which will just kill every other rating. You're gonna have a 95 ball handle, which is super important because this is where you unlock by far the fastest and best dribble move in the game, Steve Francis, which is what allows these small guards to be good. If Steve Francis wasn't in the game and you couldn't get a 95 ball handling with that dribble move, then these small guards wouldn't be viable. But you need a 95 ball handling strictly for that. You see a 91 speed with ball. I mean, you see the playmaking badges you get. Hall of Fame handles for days. Hall of Fame speed booster. Gold unpluckable, which I've quickly realized doesn't matter in this game. When you go against a good lockdown, they will rip you. No defense, like I said, because you will be guarding corner. This really isn't a twos build. You see you have a high speed, high excel, 99 stamina, and I really do want to talk about this. You might be wondering, why is your standing dunk so high? What I've quickly realized is standing dunks are actually very OP in this game. So you're not going to get a high driving dunk on this build where you're going to get like the LeBron dunk package. So you might as well go standing dunk, which you will get on this build. So you just drive to the paint, and instead of going up for like a layup where you can get chased down, you just keep running, and once you hit the paint, you just go up for a standing dunk. And I'm telling you, since it's maxed at a 57, you might think 57 standing dunk, that's not high enough, you're not going to get standing dunks. Trust me, you will get standing dunks every time you're opening the paint with this rating. So you just 3-hunt around screens or ISO, however you want to play on the threes, even twos if you don't care about the defense. And then if you want to get past your defender, you can go for a standing dunk, which I promise you guys is OP. Try it if you haven't, if you have a high enough standing dunk rating. So yeah, that's the small point guard build. And you see what you get shades of. Like I said, that doesn't really matter, but you have created a 3-point shot hunter, which is exactly what this build is. You are a 3-point shot hunter. That's it for the guard builds. Let's get into the lockdown build. Now for the lockdown, I was debating on whether going 6'6" or 6'7". I ultimately decided on 6'6". I went 208 pounds with a 7'3" wingspan, and I did make him a shooting guard. Now I don't know why, but they just made it so 6'6" builds get more attributes this year, kind of like how the 6'9" in 2K23 got more attributes. 6'6" in 2K24 just get more attributes. I'm gonna finish these up, and then I'll show you the numbers. And at 99 overall, this is the build. Obviously, you're a lockdown defender, so we're going to start off with the defense. 94 perimeter defense, because you see what you unlock. Once you go to 93, you no longer get ankle braces, clamps, and all that stuff at the tier that you have it. So 94 is perfect. You see you get all of them, well, not all of them, but the most important defensive badges all on Hall of Fame. Now for clamps, you need a 99 perimeter defense. We all know to get any rating to 99, it basically kills the rest of your build, so you do not want to go with that. 94 is high enough where you'll get all these badges on a really high rating. I ended up going with a 95 steal because you see you go down to 94, you no longer get Hall of Fame interceptor, so 95 steal. And I mean, since you're a lockdown, you already know you have max wingspan. Although passing lanes aren't that good in this game, with this high of a steal rating, Hall of Fame interceptor, and a 7'3" wingspan, I don't see how they wouldn't give you easy steals. Next is block. I ended up going with an 80 block because that is what you need for silver chase down artist. And next is block. I ended up going with an 80 block because that is the highest you can get on this build. 74 interior defense. I really don't think interior defense matters that much on a lockdown, considering you're going to be guarding guards out at the perimeter, and if they decide to drive in on you, as long as you're in front of them, you should be able to stop them. You see you have an 83-point shot, which is more than high enough to be able to hit out the corner or the wing wherever you shoot. If you guys have played 2K24, you know 80 is high enough to shoot your catch and shoots. You are a lockdown defender. You will not be bringing the ball up dribbling, as you can see from your ball handling speed with ball. 75 pass accuracy, because you need to be able to pass it. A 60 standing dunk. If you watch the last build that I just talked about, you'll understand standing dunk is OP this year. 60 is high enough. And then an 85 driving dunk with an 83 vertical, so you can unlock the LeBron James dunk package, which is the best dunk package this year by far. You see basically all your physicals are really high. You have a 70 strength, so you cannot get bullied. 79 excel, max speed, because you're a lockdown, that is what you need. And revisiting it, 80 3-pointer, 94 perimeter defense, 95 steal, basically really high for all your defensive ratings. I think this is the best lockdown build at 6'6", since you're going to be guarding smaller guards normally, right? And even if you don't, most people have 6'6", so you match their height. I wouldn't be mad if you made a 6'7", but I looked at the attributes and I decided 6'6" is just better. And when you bake your build, I mean, look at the shades of, you have Tony Allen, one of the greatest defenders ever, and look at the build name. You have built a defensive menace, which is exactly what this build is. Now, let's get to the best popper build. And now for your shooting center or your popper build, you're going to want to go a 6'8" power forward, 268 pounds, max wingspan, which is 7'6". And do not get discouraged about the height. I know some people are going to say 6'8" is too small for a shooting center, but trust me, it isn't. I'm going to fill out these attributes and then I'll let you know why I did each rating at that number. And at 99, this is what your build should look like. These are the ratings. As a popper, we're going to start out with your 3-point shot being a 78. Obviously, that is more than high enough if you guys have played 2K24. 78 3-point shot if you know your jump shot. I personally would recommend JT Ford base. It is very, very good with this 3-point rating and any 3-point rating, to be honest. You see your defensive ratings are all really good, really balanced, especially the one that matters most, which is block, and then a 99 defensive rebound. So you do unlock Hall of Fame rebound chaser, Hall of Fame box out beast, and Hall of Fame pogo stick. I made sure you had a 92 block so that you do get gold anchor. You see at 91 you get silver, at 92 you get gold. This will be a really important badge for a popper like this. With an 81 steal, 80 perimeter, and 80 interior, you're good at all 3 of these things, which will be really important for a popper. Your build definitely does not lack in any of the physical categories. You see 79 speed, 90 strength, 90 vert, 95 stamina. He basically can do everything in terms of physicals. And then you have an 80 driving dunk and a 75 standing dunk, so you can do both of these really well if you do need to score the ball in the paint. And lastly, a 70 pass accuracy. It doesn't matter what build you have, you need to have pass accuracy if you want to not throw the ball like a complete slug. And I do want to say this one more time. I know some of you guys are probably going to look at this and say 6'8" for a center for a popper is too small, but I'm telling you, it isn't. I play with poppers. I play with outside centers. I know a lot of outside centers. They all agree 6'8" or 6'9" is the best 2 heights. I personally like 6'8". I think you can defend the paint against every single build, even a 7'3", and let's be honest, nobody makes 7'3s anymore. And even if you do, that's why you do have something like this gold anchor, Hall of Fame pogo stick. You'll have a 99 defensive rebound, and basically you're gonna have an 80 speed and they're gonna have like a 45 speed. So that's why I think this 6'8" popper is the best build in the game for an outside center. And you see who we do have shades of. Jaren Jackson Jr., one of the best defensive players in the league. You have built a glass cleaning 3-point threat, which is exactly what this build is. Let's get into the last build of the video, a dominant inside center. So for your inside center, I would recommend going power forward, 7 foot, 252 pounds with maxed out 7'10" wingspan. I'm going to do all these ratings starting off with a 99 defensive rebound, and when I'm done filling it up, we'll talk about why I went each number. And at 99 overall, this is what your Big Shaq, your Wilt Chamberlain, your dominant inside center will look like. Let's start off with the defensive ratings. 99 defensive rebound, 91 offensive rebound, 90 to block. With a maxed out perimeter defense and an 88 interior defense, this build will be an absolute demi in the paint. He will snag. He should be able to stop basically everybody with these ratings. And then I put a 63 steal so that you do get at least bronze interceptor on this build. And with the 7'10" wingspan, although we know passing lanes aren't the greatest in this game, you should get a lot of steals. And then you see your physicals. Basically all of them are maxed out besides strength, but a 90 strength is more than high enough. You are going to bully so many people, considering nobody really makes 7 foot or taller builds anymore. So you're 7 foot with all these physicals super high and a max wingspan with a 99 rebounding and then a 90 standing dunk. So you can bully people in the paint with this build if you really wanted to. I mean, there's really not much to talk about an inside center, right? You have all the ratings you need. You have all the defensive ratings, your rebound ratings, the physicals, the standing dunk, which is important, and then the one rating that's nothing to do with any of that stuff, but you need on every build, a 70 pass accuracy, which is definitely high enough to be able to pass the ball quick enough and you're not just throwing the ball like a complete slug. So yeah, that's gonna be the best inside center build in the game. To be honest, I wouldn't really recommend even using an inside center unless you're playing with like a completely dominant short guard that like doesn't miss, or you're or pure sharpshooter. Actually, if you play with like pure sharps that don't miss and they just want to run around your screens and shoot every three, this build is good too. Or if you play like, you know, random rec and you want to do that, this build will be really dominant for that too. But for park, I would recommend using the last popper I showed, but that's going to be the inside center build. You see who you have created shades of. I don't know how it says Giannis, but you see you have created a defensive anchor, which is exactly what this build is. And that wraps it up for this video. Those are, in my opinion, the top 5 builds on NBA 2K24. Like I said, it really doesn't matter how you play. In this video, I showed you a build that will fit your play style, whether it be ISOing, running around screens, you want a tall guard, you want a short guard, you play outside center, you play inside center, you play lockdown. Really, the only thing I didn't show is a pure sharpshooter, but even then, we know you just make a 99 3-point. But that is going to wrap up this video. If this video helped you out at all, and you decided to use any of the builds that I showed you, please do me a favor, drop a like on the video, subscribe if you're new, and I'm out.